several of the top 100 companies in the world, okay, have said we no longer care about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now I'm hurt because y'all know I'm a McDonald's fan. I said I was going to give it up, before this happened. But I had to go get a sympathy meal when I saw they was getting rid of the blacks. So I only ate one double quarter pounder meal this last week.
Get rid of the blacks.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. They are getting rid of us. So Phil, I'm gonna throw it to you first. How do you feel about Facebook, Tesla, Google, Target, Walmart no longer caring about diversity?
You see people true colors. It's easy, when, cause some companies didn't go with it, right? They just
Apple
was like,
Apple
we ain't doing that. We believe in that. So when you see these companies, you really know where their heart is, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to see, but it ain't shocked me. Did it shock y'all?
Not at all. No, it didn't shock me. I think that, they couldn't wait.
Yeah.
They couldn't wait for this to happen. And I understand the premise and the ideal that, okay, we're beyond where we were when these laws were implemented.
Yeah.
But are we? Are we really past the point where I could walk in this interview and you see my black face and you automatically don't dismiss me because now you don't have to consider me if you don't want to. And I think, it was an important checks and balance for the Targets and the Walmarts and the McDonald's to make sure that, we're represented in more than just flipping the fries and pushing the basket carts.
Good shit.
Jason, what you think, brother?
I mean, I think a lot. It's twofold. At the end of the day, us as African Americans, we always are put into some type of program or affirmative action. And then when we are in those programs and they take it away, half of us never took advantage of it in the first place. Now, when you take it away, now people screaming, why you taking it away? We ain't take advantage of it. Peep game. Watch this. Tabitha Brown, everybody know who she is. She had her products in Target. Target is cutting her products in half, obviously by price, so they can remove it from the shelf. Tell me why now everybody going to buy her products now? Why won't nobody? Her products been in there
because the price is cheaper now.
Exactly, and they're making a big deal out of DEI, and a lot of people don't even know what DEI actually means. Obviously, we know diversity, equity and inclusion. Of course, we know that, but what does it really mean? You know what I'm saying? So, the one thing I hate is when you taking something away from us that people didn't take advantage of in the first place. Why are we even talking about it?
So,
no, go ahead. So, go ahead. You good?
So, for the people that don't know what it really means, like break it down.
Yeah, so DEI is the counterpart of affirmative action. Affirmative action means we're supposed to be able to have, a certain number of minorities in the corporate world in corporate positions. DEI is the financial counterpart of affirmative action. We're supposed to have a number of minority companies in Fortune 100 establishments. That's all it is on the financial side. Now, the word minority in federal government means this: anybody that's not a white male. That's what the word minority means to the government. So now when you peep game, the minorities been taking advantage of it, but not the blacks haven't been taking advantage of it. So now when they taking it away, we screaming, why y'all doing this? They what you talking about? Because they looking at the numbers and they seeing that we haven't been taking advantage of it. So those dollars haven't been utilized by us. They've been utilized by the other side of minorities.
Yeah, most of our civil rights got hijacked. Like when our people were marching in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was about Black liberation, Black freedom, Black access to opportunity. But what happened was, because politicians are smart and they know they need a constituency to vote for them. So they say, you know what? This just ain't about Black people. This is about women also. This is also about Indian Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans. And guess what? Our population is the only one that really ain't skyrocketed in comparison to the others.
So they really diluted what we were trying to do.
What's wrong with us in that aspect? Are we just too lazy? Do we expect shit to just come to us?
Yo,
what's wrong with us in that aspect?
I ain't even mad at you using the word lazy. I know a lot of people won't vibe with that word lazy, but it's a form of that, right? Because when we don't know how to take advantage of certain programs, or we got to dive too deep for research, guess what we do?
I ain't gonna do that.
You know what I mean? So I ain't even mad at using the word lazy.
We got to start reading shit.
Well, what did Chris Rock say?
We got to start reading.
If you want to hide something, put it in a book.
And it's the age-old saying.
Yeah.
But we have to start reading, because like you were saying with the DEI situation, a lot of people feel like that was one and the same with affirmative action. Like it's the same thing. Like we don't even understand what these things are.
Correct.
So what does it mean for our community moving forward then? Because if the top of the chain is saying, we don't care about none of this. There's no quotas. There's no, I mean, think about the Rooney Rule in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like they run right through that.
Yeah.
Bro, I think that's gone. Think about what happened in college football. Freeman was the first coach to coach in the national championship game that has any black descent of him at all.
Yeah.
Damn.
So could you imagine what happens now when they take away all of those programs? Like what happens to our community now?
Yeah. I think we have to get back to where we were pre-desegregation and all of that. I think we got to get back to like building our own stuff. And
Black
I think
Panther
there's
type
enough,
shit.
not even as radical as, the Black Panthers were made out to be. Because I mean, initially the Black Panthers was just a community program that helped police our people and make sure that we were safe and make sure that we were getting what we needed in our own communities. We got to get back to that.
Okay.
We got to get back to that.
I ain't mad at that.
And low key, you got to kind of militarize in the same fashion, because the way the gun laws are set up, and we saw what happened in Tulsa way back when, like as far as Black Wall Street's concerned, because if they're removing DEI, if they're removing all of these checks and balances for these private companies to make sure that they're hiring us and paying us what we're supposed to be paid, we just got to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to do it ourselves. And it's enough successful, wealthy Black people to where if we could get together in some way,
but that's the key.
And that's the key.
Getting together.
That's the key.
We so much of a community, we not.
Yep.
We got pockets of bop, 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 but we not a whole community. If you go to Maryland, you go to New York, places like that, you got whole Jewish communities that got 10 to 12 blocks. Out of that 10 to 12 blocks, it's all Jewish dollars, all Jewish establishments, everything.
There's a neighborhood.
And we need to get it like that too.
There's a neighborhood in Houston, like tucked into the Southwest, like Fondren and Braeswood, Southwest. There's a neighborhood off to the side somewhere in the midst of all of this low income housing. There's a Jewish neighborhood where it's just lovely homes. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of money. They got their own mosques and all of that. It's like their own little pocket.
I believe it.
Yeah, right there on the Southwest.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we, and I wish we could, Black people could come together. It's like some shit that's supposed to be
innate.
Yeah. But it's so hard for it.
Well, a lot of that was beat out of us, though.
That's
like
true.
If you think about it, there is conditioning to, 400 years of slavery.
Yes,
but we're not slaves.
Yeah.
So there's a mindset in it also, but there is still conditioning. There's a book I'd recommend for everybody. I've read it maybe 4 or 5 times. It's called The Devil You Know. Charles H. Blow. He talks about Black people owning the South, basically, because really the only way that you could navigate what happens in the political environment is having electoral votes. Like that's how you manage things. So if you take everything, and basically his book's premise is, if Black people take everything south of Delaware and east of the Mason-Dixon line, we could have like the DMV, we could have like Atlanta, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama to Louisiana. And that's enough electoral votes that you could never have a president without us having
Without
power.
our say.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be able to do anything without us. And I would encourage y'all to read it. It's radical as fuck. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because he talks about, like you said, the first thing you got to do is then get security.
You got to.
Yeah.
Like you almost got to have your own military separate of what the United States is going to offer. Because the first thing you do if you start organizing that way, they burning that down.
They coming to
They coming to that.
Yeah.
So what's our overall solution then? DEI don't matter, but how do we handle this administration moving forward? Like, I think take advantage of the opportunities because they're gonna be giving out bread.
They're gonna be giving out a lot of bread.
If you don't follow the money, you're a fool.
Yeah.
They like watch this. All administrations do this. They take away something, but they add the money somewhere else. So you got to follow the money. A lot of us, to Phil's point, like I hate to use the word lazy, but we too lazy enough to find out where the money is going. If it's being pulled from here, it has to go somewhere else. Yeah. So us as a community, and I'm gonna be a leader of it. I'm gonna follow the money and I'm gonna blast it out there. Yeah. That's where the money went to.
Yeah, had Kamala won, the money was going to shit like affordable housing. It was going to DEI initiatives, things like that. Trump won? Nah, it's going to corporations.
He's about to make
it's
some
going
money.
to entrepreneurs. It's going to places like that. So I would encourage that same thing. Follow the bread.
Follow the money. Watch the news.
Yep.
Read the don't listen to the news. Read the ticker at the bottom.
Straight up. Straight up.
That's where the information is.
And go to NPR. Like, man, I've been trying to tell
BBC,
people for a long time.
Yeah.
Stop going to Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. Those are entertainment news companies. That's why they're said entertainment. They are there to force an opinion upon you. You got to go to the ones who are straight.
Al Jazeera.
They don't have no spin. They just telling you what happened. So I would encourage y'all to do that. And you know, this ain't a plug just because he our guy. You got to tap in with Jason too.
Got to.
Because he been doing the work for the last decade, laying the groundwork for what's been happening. And he'll be able to take advantage of a time like now in comparison to where other people still catching up.
I always say everybody was, you know, so upset about, you know, Trump being voted back in. And I've always said, man, position yourself to where no matter who's the president, you can win.